Crazy Legs Conti, top-ranked Major League eater, and you're listening to Verbal Shenanigans.
But our shenanigans are cheeky and fun.
Yeah, I mean, his shenanigans are cruel and tragic.
Which makes them not shenanigans at all, really. Evil shenanigans.
I swear to God, I'll pistol whip the next guy that says shenanigans.
Hello, everybody. Welcome on back to the Verbal Shenanigans podcast. Mike, your days are numbered to your 500th episode. We're getting close here.
Yeah. I should probably start thinking about doing things that I said I was going to do for 500.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said I was going to do for the previous 500.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Yeah. I keep on hoping like another COVID happens, but it's like instead of staying inside, you have to be outside.
You're at home and you keep hoping another COVID happens. That's what you're telling us.
Well, outside COVID, where we all have to stay out of our homes and all. I'm like, Scott, my internet's inside. I can't do anything. Sorry.
No. We've figured out how to make this thing work pretty much in every scenario. We're recording outside if we have to.
The tent cast, yeah.
But I see you are ready to podcast with your aviation headset on. You look like you are directing plane traffic at the moment.
Yep. I got a little antenna right here.
Uh-huh.
You know, I can scooch it around. You know, it's like the old school antenna ears on the television and all. Maybe put a little tinfoil on there if I want to get a little better reception.
Maybe that little antenna will keep you focused during this week's episode.
No, I'm probably going to stare at it like during interviews and I'm like, ooh, I wonder what I can get the fuzzy thing to do here.
I don't know. The audience is upset with you, Mike.
Well, what's going on, Scott?
Our audience member, our fan, Dom, that's listened to every episode since episode 1, said Burlew's out for sorting cakes during the podcast.
Hey, just because my capabilities are outstanding and I could make a hilarious observation and sort of cake at the same time does not mean I should be thrown off of this podcast right here. I mean, I have done way more for this podcast than Mr. Dom Bagnato.
I thought you were about to say, I've done way worse that I should be thrown off the podcast.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's true, too. But, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, I should get credit for my multi-talented capabilities.
Mm-hmm. So we're coming off last week, which was once again a kind of wrestling themed. Not all of it. We talked about Wu-Tang for a while, but a wrestling thing, put a little twist on it. But little did we know, like a day, maybe, I don't know, 2 days after we recorded, Hulk Hogan died. Mike, how are you dealing with this?
I'm doing all right. I send respects to Hulk Hogan for everything he's done. It's
what do you mean you sent respects? What did you send him?
Well, you know, again, as the number one draft pick of heaven and all, I'm like, I have my people contact his people up there. You know, we're passing notes and all. Just you know, the bros thing about you, fist bump.
Uh-huh.
You know,
yeah. And I thought you were like sending a care package to the family or something.
No, I won't do that. And all. I mean, his family's kind of split up as is. So, but yeah, I mean, people when it happened, they were kind of it's a mixed reaction on one end. Like every wrestling fan owes pretty much almost everything to him and all of it. It's not. Sure. I mean, if you think about it, as all us wrestling fans have to thank two possibly the scummiest people on the planet, Vince McMahon and Hulk Hogan, to where we're at right now, because they did everything.
Now, let me ask you, does Hulk Hogan, does he equate to the evil that is Vince McMahon? Because Vince McMahon seems like a real pile of shit. Hulk Hogan seems like, yeah, maybe he let a couple racial slurs fly around and, you know, like a man from the 70s would.
Yeah, he's a BSer. He said some racist things. His apology to the black wrestlers when he came back was, hey, just watch out. You never know where cameras are at, instead of saying, hey, sorry, use that hard N right there. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm not going to go into the politics thing. That's for anybody else to care about. But everybody's got a political view there. But at the end of the day, he was kind of a scummy person. He also screwed wrestlers out of getting into unions, and he pushed some people down. But with everyone that there was like 80 different wrestlers putting out there, I'm not where I'm at. I don't own a home. I'm not capable of going in and do movies and doing cons and stuff like that with thousands of people waiting without Hulk Hogan.
Sure.
Bringing all of wrestling to where it was at one point.
Yeah, it's weird because he died and I had no like feelings towards it. It was weird. It was kind of like, oh, Hogan's dead. That's kind of shocking. Like he seemed like he was in decent health over the last few years. I know he turned to Jesus, and I know he had like a bazillion back surgeries and things like that, but he didn't seem like he had like, I don't know, like dementia or ALS or cancer. It seemed like he was more of like the crippled kind of old wrestler guy. And 71 is like 309 years old in wrestling years.
Oh yeah, that's like for 80s wrestlers, that's insane. In fact, I saw a meme where they pretty much said Sergeant Slaughter, Ted DiBiase, and Bret Hart are the only surviving wrestlers right now who have main evented the first 10 WrestleManias.
Oh,
anybody else who is in there?
Yeah, like I said, like 39 guys are dead. Like I said,
no, you don't get credit for the question and all afterwards, and it still would be wrong in this scenario. We went over this beforehand.
Yeah, he seemed like it caught a lot of backlash after he died. Like I saw immediately people being like, F Hogan, F this. And I guess I didn't realize the hate was that strong. I mean, I get the politic thing, whatever. You choose one side or the other, you sell a real American beer and you love Trump, whatever. Like I find that hard to believe that that's enough for people to just absolutely like be celebrating his death. I get now the racial thing, I it's pretty terrible. I get it. But the reaction was much more visceral than I thought it would be.
I think the craziest thing, as you were talking about, you didn't know he was sick. I would say 2 days before his death, some word got out that he may not be doing well and stuff like that. And who announced it but Bubba the Love Sponge. And for historical reference, that was his best friend who he effed his wife in that Gawker video where he won like $150 million. So it's kind of weird. Like the person that's telling people, hey, say your prayers, pay respects, is a dude that's like, yeah, pay respects to the dude that plowed my wife for a video.
Yeah, I mean, Hogan made out on that deal. He got bazillions of dollars. Everybody saw his giant dong. Speaking of Connor's dong, last time. And he did all right on that one.
Yeah, 9 figures. So yeah. good for him, man. Yeah. And all, I mean, for what, like a 10-minute film that probably nobody is Googling right now. Like if we start talking about the old Tommy Lee and Pam Anderson movie, like everybody's like, oh yeah. And then I guarantee you like 10% is like getting on the sites and all. Let me refresh my memory on that one. That was a good one. Ain't nobody going out to like YouPorn and be like, let me see some Hogan smashing.
Why do I feel like that's in your recent search history?
No. I don't need Hogan schlong in my computers or my phone. Okay.
It's funny though. It did make me think like there's certain people like it doesn't matter like if they die, they're immune to any criticism. And my first thought was when Michael Jackson died, right? Michael Jackson, everyone loved him. There's full-on documentaries about him basically being a pedophile, and doing the creepiest things. And it seems like that guy was just like Teflon. Nobody cared. It was still like, oh my God, Michael Jackson's dead. Like, rest in peace, King, King of Pop. He is truly one that I think people, for some reason, were able to completely separate the old art from the artist thing, because he has literally documentaries about him like molesting children and all these accusations and whatnot. And my old saying is always, if 10% of that is true, he was a monster.
Yeah.
But he avoided everything. No one cared. Everyone still loves Michael Jackson.
It's a good beat. I don't know what to tell you, man. I mean, I know what he did is horrific, but it's like you look at most people's like freaking Spotify lists. Probably
He's
he's
on
got at least a 10% chunk in everybody's. Can you imagine he passes away and like let's say the line in heaven, I get first dibs into heaven.
You're like Burlew. Okay.
Yeah.
Mr. Jackson, you're next. Mr. Jackson.
But like he's in the big line. It's like, all right, we're going up. We're going to get judged. And he's like on his phone. It's like, wait a minute. There was an island where I could have done some of this stuff.
Yeah.
And they're not releasing the names. I could have got away with it. Oh,
Here's a good question. In heaven, is Michael Jackson the black version of him, or is he the white version at the end? Like he goes to heaven. Which one is?
that's a tough one. And also, a lot of people don't know his singing voice wasn't his real voice. It's actually like documented. There was I think it was the Rocky video game where he did a voice for like a special character. Like they have all, Mr. T and the Russian and all the ones that we know, even though I can't remember the names.
Drago, Mr. T and the Russian.
But there's also like other boxers, the ones you face to get up to the big names. And he apparently like lent his real voice to that video game. And it's like the only documented like real Michael Jackson voice out there.
So like the voice we hear in interviews is not how he actually talks?
No, like he's got a deep voice. Like I've heard some like celebrity interviews where they talk about, they'll get a phone call and it's like, hey, this is Michael Jackson. I want to work with you. Yeah, whatever. Hang up.
Yeah.
And they call back. Hey, this is Michael Jackson. This is serious. Hang up. And then third time. Yo, this is serious.
No way.
Look it up. Michael Jackson's real voice. Look it up. He had like a deep voice, and like apparently somewhere in his brain it's like, I can't drop the facade. I gotta go Minnie Mouse on everybody 24/7.
So you're telling me the guy made that voice? Like he decided that was a better voice than having like a smooth voice. So
yeah.
So the guy that was black that turned white also had a deep voice. Secretly.
Absolutely.
This is mind blowing.
I'm looking it up right now.
I want to know. I want to know the how deep this conspiracy theory goes. Like how much wool did Michael Jackson pull over our eyes? Like other than the hiding the pedophilia thing, which he didn't hide too well, in my opinion. But
I mean, enough money hit it long enough, and all. Like, let's see if that's one, but. Let me look up Michael Jackson boxing video game. Ready to Rumble Boxing Round 2. This is the one where he lent his voice.
Okay. So we took a little break there just to go find this video. So apparently this is guys reacting in the beginning. The game was in there talking about he heard Michael Jackson's voice. So let's hear if there's any samples here or whatnot.
And walked out. And my friend was saying he was sitting there like.
There's not many recordings or videos of Michael using his real voice, but there is one. In 1999, Michael allowed Midway to use his likeness and voice in Ready to Rumble Boxing, in which he opted to use his actual voice for his character.
So you be bad, huh? I don't move over for no one. They call me the King of Pop. I'm gonna dance all over you. Don't tango with the King of Pop.
Okay. So it's definitely deeper. It's not like Barry White, like I was imagining in my head and be like, "Hello, children." Like, but it definitely has a little bit of a deeper. And maybe that when he did have like a, he hit a little bit of it, but. I think it's more funny that you could fight Michael Jackson in a boxing game.
Yeah, and I find it weirder. It's like, I'm going to make the fighter look exactly like my performer me, but I'm going to give the voice that nobody knows about, where everybody's like, this is the worst Michael Jackson imitation I ever heard in my life.
Right. Yeah, I mean, like I said, he's the real Teflon Don. He avoided everything. People, I bet you 10 years from now, everyone's gonna be like, I love Michael. What a saint he was. No one's gonna remember any of like the child stuff.
No. History eventually buries everything, where you have to remind people of stuff. So
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, if he only took that amusement park and said, "Let me surround it by an ocean," he'd be fine right now.
Yeah. Well, speaking of freak shows and wrestling, I believe wrestling came out of the Carnival circuit back in the day, right? Or the travel.
It did.
Yeah. So I want to talk about this last week. I took my son to the local carnival. Your typical carnival that I don't know if they're as popular everywhere else in the country, but in New Jersey, it seems like every town has their little summer carnival, and whatnot. And my carnivals have not changed whatsoever. Okay. So tell me what you picture a carnival in New Jersey. Give me like a brief synopsis of what you picture.
Okay, for what I remember back in the day, there's going to be some sort of petting zoo. There's going to be a bunch of rigged games that kids are going to demand to play, and then you lose $50 to win a $2 stuffed ornament. There's going to be rides like the Ferris wheel, maybe a House of Mazes, maybe a haunted house. All of them look insanely dangerous and scary, even though they've been going around for years. Seedy people, I would say teens, probably there just to make out with their girlfriends. Some really weird fried food, I'm sure that's going to be brought up. Yeah, I'm going to go with that. That's
yeah. I mean, you pretty much nailed everything but the petting zoo. I didn't see a petting zoo, so you wouldn't like it. But
oh my god,
maybe they've moved.
I mean, where's the manager of this fair?
Yeah,
this hand has not touched one animal in 10 minutes, and I need to know why.
Yeah, maybe they've outgrown carnivals and moved to coffee shops.
I mean, I'm gonna be like, listen. I'm going to be honest with you. I snuck my feed in. I didn't know what your feed fee would be, so I snuck a bunch in my underpants, and I'm ready to go. Now, and I can't find a cow anywhere.
And now I'm asking teenagers if they want some feed. It's really I'm getting some strange looks.
I'm like, hey, when you're done making out with the girl, maybe she's a little hungry. I don't know.
Well, you pretty much nailed it. Carnivals are exactly the same. There's the rides that were put together the day of. You got your scrambler, you got your teacups, you got your big slide with the canvas mat thingy, you got the gravitron, the Ferris wheel, and you got some sort of thing that looks so sketchy that I would never, like some spinning thing that also twirls you around upside down that only like the brave 15-year-olds go on.
Oh yeah.
Now. And of course, your rigged games, your fried foods, blah, blah, blah. Okay. And of course, your seedy people, no teeth. Everyone has a tan, the color of like a Yingling lager, and they're all white, by the way. Yeah. But their skin is leather. Like it is just straight leather. They're still blasting like old Metallica while you're putting your kids on ride, so nothing's really changed. Now, my son's getting to the age where he can start going on some rides by himself and whatnot. And I don't know about you, Mike. Have you been on a spinny ride since you were an adult?
I mean, you must remember you are talking to the former Disney unofficial employee for about 3 years.
But when I picture Disney, I don't picture like just straight spin. Like carnivals are meant to just spin you to death, and then kids just love it for some reason. I loved it when I was a kid. Can't handle them anymore.
I'm trying to remember because we also have a Great Adventure down here, or Six Flags over Georgia. I'm not sure if I went on like the spinny, like stuck to the wall thing. I do remember.
Gravitron.
Yeah, it's like a 14-year-old. I'm not sure if it's the same one. Not it's where you're actually like stuck to the wall. That it's
Gravitron. Yep.
Stuck to the wall.
No seatbelts. You used to try to like go upside down as your hand would like slap back against the wall.
Yeah, I believe I was 14 years old when I worked at Six Flags for on the weekends, and I went on it like 4 times in a row, and I literally like passed out after it ended on the 4th time, and it took me like 3 minutes to get out of the damn room as they're trying to load the next set of people.
You haven't been on the Gravitron until you see someone puke, and then the puke is in the air for a split second and then comes right back at them as they are spinning. It is like you could not pay me. I'm going to be honest. I would need $150 to go on the Gravitron these days. I could not do it. This is how bad it is. We went to Chuck E. Cheese for a birthday party like 3 weeks ago, and I'm playing the Jurassic Park game with my son, where it's just like you're shooting at dinosaurs, and you're like in a little seat that moves around. I had to hit the stop motion button on the little shooting game at Chuck E. Cheese. So never mind, going on any of these spinny rides. So, he goes on the slide. They give him some potato sack that's probably been used for
that must be the nasty. Like, if they want to know where Ebola's at and all, they got to just go to the local fair and just start searching those damn potato sacks, because there is no way they clean that thing in any way whatsoever. Maybe they clean it by spitting their chewing tobacco on it, but nothing else.
And then I go on the swings, like the ones that just spin around with him, and I do okay with that. But say it was a 3-minute ride. By minute 2, I was starting to get a little bit of the like that deep breathing, like a little bit of sweat. Also, I feel like I'm way too big for it. There's kids who are 80 pounds on it, and I'm over here at like 240 or whatever the hell I am, like barely fitting in the thing. I'm like, I'm gonna fly off this thing. And I just got like the nervous sweats. Ironically, the thing I should be least nervous of all is my son asked to go on the Ferris wheel. Okay, no problem. That should be an easy one.
Before you continue, I would just like to say, I will take any spinny ride. I will take any speed ride. I will do any insane thing that's out there. The 2 I fear, I guess 3 I would say, more in life is Ferris wheel. The whatever you call the one where you get on the wire and you go across the park, like the gondola or whatever you want to call it. Yeah. And as you were talking about the spinning swings and all, now I don't mind the spinning swings, but they have one down here in Georgia that it's a spinning swing. And by the way, I'm going to take you 25 feet up in the air.
No.
And I am cold sweating. That entire wife is like an 8-year-old. This is so fun. I'm in my mind going, when am I leaving to Scott's kids in my wheel? What am I going to do when my life is over? No, I'm going to be the first person to die in a swinging chair.
I'm on those swings. I'm looking at like the welds. I'm like, that doesn't look like a good weld. Like, I'm going to fly out of this thing. But the Ferris wheel, the most innocent little, go around in a circle. I get in the thing. I'm like, man, I don't remember it being this, like the thing's so wobbly, like the cart. And then, now keep in mind, I have my 4-year-old son. So he's a fidgety, he moves around. He's a typical 4-year-old boy. The whole time I'm like, and then the other thing is I'm like, oh my God, I thought there were seatbelts on this thing. Seatbelts. So you're just wobbling around, and he wants to I'm like holding on to his hands, like we're on a roller coaster with no seatbelt on, and it stops at the top, and I have like the hairs standing up on my arm. I'm like cold sweating. I'm like, oh my God, this can't go. Like every time we would go back around, I'm like, please be the one that we get off. Please. No, back up. He's like, my wife is down at the bottom with my daughter. He's like waving to her. I'm like, put your hand back down. Put your hand back down. Like, and I'm like, I just felt so old and pussified in that moment. I was like, I cannot believe I am like sweating with fear over the Ferris wheel at the carnival. Like, absolutely. I couldn't do it.
Like, here's the differences in life thinking, if you will, with me. I remember early teens, cousin came over from Georgia. We are all going to the state fair, and the 3 of us go on the Ferris wheel. And it's one of those Ferris wheels where where you're sitting in, you could get it to spin,
Oh, Jesus.
And like 3 of us are in there, and we are putting full weight, just zoom, like it looks like an endless circle.
Oh my God.
Us doing this as the Ferris wheel is circling for like 4 minutes. Fast forward to my wife took me to Coney Island, and Ferris wheel's starting to get into my fear box, and I didn't know the Wonder Wheel had an option for the cart can move. I had no idea. So we're going up. I'm like, okay, it's a Ferris wheel. Fine. It's good. And they're basically on like tracks. So as you go up, it will like slide and then start swinging you and bring it back. I had no idea. It started going. I'm like, I am cursing like no other New Yorker did in their life, as we're just even a quarter of our way into the first turn of the Ferris wheel.
Yeah. And I'm like, every time we're going up, I'm like looking down at my wife. I'm like, this is it. This is how I die. Everyone's life is ruined because she watches her son and husband fall out of the Ferris wheel right in front of her. She can't go on. We're dead. I was having the worst thoughts. I came off the ride. I was like, sweetheart, feel my hands. And they're just like covered in sweat, like pure clammy, gross. Like, and I think back and I remember like my dad would never go on any of the spinny rides with us. My mom would go on and then be like, like, and then I like look over and kids are on like the teacups making that cup go 150 miles an hour. I'm like, oh my God, I'm in the worst part of coming up with my kids because Shay's, my son's going to get to the age where he's going to want to go on all these things and push it to the limit. Luckily, he had some like friends from his daycare there, and we're like, okay, you guys go on the ride together. Like, but I'm approaching like, I don't know, man. Like he loved every second of it, and I was pretty much hating every second of it.
Yeah, I could still deal with spinning. I will feel it. I slowly progress from like, okay, as I'm done with at an amusement park, I can feel a little bit of emotion, but I'm not terrible. But I do recall like one time I was on a work trip with 2 other friends, and we went on like the tiki hop, and our sole goal was to like break whatever record it could have been for spinning. And I guess there's like they tried to pack as many people as possible, so they put like a 8-year-old kid in with us, and I'm talking about like late 20s, early 30s men who were ready to spin. We just look at that kid. Oh boy, you're gonna learn a lesson tonight, kid. Man, we were just grabbing that middle thing and just like we were just a blur. And that poor kid was like near tears as we were like somehow we thought like a news crew would come out and like congratulate us for like defying the records of a teacup right there. And that poor kid just will never be the same for the rest of his life.
Yeah, it's just I don't know what it is, man. I used to love deep sea fishing. The last time I went, seasick like crazy in the middle of the cab, caught no fish, as we talked about. I'm the worst fisherman in the world, can't catch a fish, and just like feeling nauseous. I think my any spinny crazy motion days are all pretty much behind me. Now, before we get to our guest, Mike, sticking with this carnival theme, I reached out to our listeners, okay, our loyal listeners, and I asked them to submit crazy memories of carnivals, so we, when we put out a question, we get hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of things, but I thought we'd review some of these.
Okay.
So former carnies, okay, or people that have interactions with carnies. So let's see if any of these match some of our experiences, okay?
All right.
Let's start with a nice simple one, okay? I watched a crackhead hit an old lady with a 2x4, then threatened to hit me with it when I tried to help her. Have you had that experience, Mike?
I mean, going to wrestling events, I did love Hacksaw Jim Duggan, but I don't recall him slapping me nor a lady of any sorts before the match. So that's going to be a nay for me, Scott.
Okay. When I was in high school, our school couldn't afford money for sports anymore. So as a way to fund our teams, they farmed us athletes around the community. I was assigned to help set up and take down stuff at the county fair. One of the carnies working alongside of us had some wild stories, but most impressive thing is that he had a shoebox full of Polaroids. This was the early 2000s before smartphones, but he basically kept a collection of nudes from various women. The shoebox was almost full. The guy was 140 pounds tops, looked like a 60-year-old piece of leather wrapped around a skeleton, but I'll be damned if we didn't witness with our own eyes him flirting and getting the number of a local woman.
It kind of reminds me of a certain comedian we used to know who had a hotel room when he was doing a room in another state, and he basically had 2 garbage bags full of female panties there, and he could have been a carny, knowing him. So
100%, and he could be
totally see.
His secret age could be like when carnivals first started. Like he might have been around in like the 1910s. Easily.
No, and that, I'm kind of wondering, you know how like a lot of people have taken their old films and moved it over to to DVDs and now to the cloud and stuff like that. I wonder if there's a service that's like, yeah, I'm a proud carny of 40 years and all. I have 3 shoe boxes full of nudies. I would like to get transferred up to the cloud. How much would that service cost?
It's funny. I'm reading these and I'm just picturing the people I saw and they all fit this description.
Yeah.
All right. So this guy worked, long one, but this guy worked different carnivals. People that worked the fryers for the food stands would save all the fried battered crumbs for the staff to eat at the end of the day. He would eat baskets of fried dough and crumbs, corn dogs that had burnt or fallen off, cold popcorn. No one was forced to eat this stuff, but it was free if you wanted to save money. If you really pissed off a vindictive boss, they might wait until they traveled somewhere remote or far from your hometown, then fire you and leave you stranded and far away. This happened a few times. Mike, how you feel about the corn dog crumbs?
I mean, it sounds gross, but I do recall when I had lesser money and I would go to like the ShopRite and get the cold cut meat ends that they would sell for like 37 cents and all. So instead of making a sandwich, like taking a nice slice of bologna or cheese or whatever, I would get like a spoon and like grab it out of the circular butt end of the cold cut. So I can't say if I was not in the same situation that I wouldn't be like, yeah, fried crumbs sounds good tonight.
Oh man, you were born to be a carny.
That's my life, Scotty, and I'm just too old to recognize it.
There was one guy who got his car searched because the cops smelled weed. They pulled out weed, meth, fentanyl, a crossbow, a gun, a box of assorted dildos. Dude was also a felon. They had him packed up and out before the end of the day.
I just like that somebody looked at the dildos and noticed they were enough different to say they were assorted. Like, I wonder if there was somebody who's like, he had a box full of the same dildo. I don't know what it is about this model dildo, but this dude loved that dildo. He needed backups just of that one.
This is a good one. Not a carny. But I had a few beers with a carny once, and he told me the most effed up story that makes him wince even when I think about it. This chap decided to join a traveling fair for a summer. He ended up getting a job as a guy who wanders around taking money and then spinning people on the waltzer. I guess it's like a spinny ride. One day, some girls were egging him on to spin them faster and faster. So he really went for it, except he got his hand caught on something and ended up spinning with them. He lost his grip and flew off, landed, and then skidded along the ground on his ass. Those who have seen rides know the ground undulates up and down, and to do so, they have gaps in the floor. Well, this guy slid along until one of his ass cheeks plopped neatly into one of those open gaps, which then closed as the ride span and basically popped his ass cheek. Yes, popped his entire ass cheek. He said he can't remember much about the incident, but he spent the following year or so basically with one huge blister on his backside.
That is just beautiful. There has to be a doctor out there that has the story. Like, do you imagine, like, you're the backup doctor, you're at a party and whatever, and they're like, You got to come in. I'm like, no, I'm at a party. You have to operate on this ass cheek that got blasted. What do you mean it popped?
Popped ass cheek.
Like, what do? You just put some tape on there and then blow it up with like a little air pump? Just a compressor out.
I like this one. Didn't work at one, but it would come to town every summer for August, first Monday of August in Canada. So even carnivals in Canada are a little seedy. Basically, some locals got into a fight with the staff working the carnival after they tried to steal something from them. So the police are called, and by the time they get there, a giant melee broke out in the center of the fairgrounds. There's like 5 people surrounded by the carnival staff, and one of them comes running in with a katana, swinging at the would-be thieves until about 20 cops break it up. Normally, they pack up and leave Monday night and Tuesday morning, but yes, they left immediately afterwards. Was probably the best article in the local newspaper for years. Running out with a katana, Mike.
That's gotta be sweet, man. You know that dude was waiting for the moment. You know, like every town is just like he's like prepping wherever he works at. Let's say he's like at that milk can, throw a ball into a thing. He's getting all the cans shine up and ready, but he's always looking around like, all right, do I got my katana in a good spot just in case I gotta plow it out here tonight?
All right. Here's one more tiny short one. We can go on and on. That we got so many submissions here. Let's see. I liked this one, I believe. Okay. So 2 women, okay, both pregnant, screaming at each other at the carnival. One of the only things I gathered from it was one woman saying, "Shut the F up before I use my welfare to call a hit on you." Did you know welfare you can call in hits?
I mean, they don't give out food stamps anymore, and it would solve the hunger problem if they took out. That'd be the greatest thing that this government could do, and all. And they'll fully admit it. It's like we don't want to waste money on food. Now bullets, we got plenty of those.
What about like a hitman who only works for food stamps?
I swear, I came up with like some. I forget how I
another $1 million idea right there. $1 million plot.
Well, I remember like I was having a conversation with like one of our friends, and I think we were talking about like school shootings and what would be like the dumbest way to solve the problem. And I think he came up with like, well, let's solve 2 problems with 1 stone and have like the homeless like living in the ceilings of the schools, but like every night they like train them in like hand-to-hand combat and shooting and all that stuff. And then you just get this one dude that's like the class of them all. And it's just like hobo number 9 coming down to kill you. And it's just like a whole series of hobo number 9 and all, like the deadliest fighter of all time and all, saving school kids. But like the government got too greedy and he turns on them.
So during the day, they just sleep in the ceilings. Like,
yeah,
they just keep quiet.
They just live up there, and all. We'll give them shower access at night. But like, you know, it's when a school shooting's about to occur. All you gotta do is like, oh, somebody's coming down the hall. That's 6's area. Hit the button 6, and hobo flies down and tries to stop the person right there. No, but when all fate looks done, and you can't do anything about it, press number 9, and hobo number 9 takes care of everything.
See, I like the plot of a really poor hitman that just wants to eat, so he just he just works on food stamps. He's not the best hitman in the world. He's a little sloppy. Well, maybe
we can have a double feature with our 2 ideas right there.
We could mash them together at some point. Mm-hmm. But I think it's guest time. Enough of the carnival. I think our guests would appreciate the carnival, because I wouldn't be surprised if there was a lot of competitive eating at carnivals at one point. So.
Sure. I mean, what's the biggest competition at mall? Hot dog competition, and that just fits.
I was going to say sperm racing was the biggest competition.
Well, I mean, I don't want to confuse sperm with eating competitions, if you don't mind tonight.
Yeah. Okay.
But tonight we are going to speak with Crazy Legs Conti. This man is currently ranked 20th at 20th eater in Major League Eating. He has made multiple appearances at the Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Competition. He has been on David Letterman. He has multiple world records and eating titles. He's had a documentary about his life, and now he's a guest of the Verbal Shenanigans podcast.
Time for another documentary on his life after this. Let's get Crazy Legs Conti on the line. Hello, hello.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
What's going on? How are you?
Hey.
I'm very well.
I'm Mike. This is Scott. Welcome to Verbal Shenanigans, Crazy Legs Conti. How we doing today?
Honored to be here.
So, Crazy Legs, were you named after like a great grandfather by that name who had like swinging legs on the boat coming over to America or something like that?
What is my legal name? When I go through TSA in New York, they think I'm the breakdancer. And then people of a certain age remember Crazy Legs Hirsch from the leather helmet era of football. But I'm sure there'll be some after me as well. So,
Hold on.
So tell us, like, what are you doing nowadays and all? We just came off of the Nathan's Hot Dog contest, and Joey's back at his old game again and all. Are you still in Major League Eating right now? Are you retired from that?
Yeah. It's my 23rd year, going on in my 24th year as a Major League Eater, which is it's a pretty long career. You know, I've bested I guess Brady and Kevin Garnett and things in terms of longevity in their equal sports. This year, the numbers were very high to make the finals of the Nathan's contest. So the wild card numbers, some were in the 30s. My personal best is 26. So I didn't qualify for the hot dogs, but Badlands Booker, stalwart of the sport, he does Badlands Chugs. He and I ate in a Nathan's meat stick eating contest. So we had 5 meat sticks. I kind of knew Badlands was gonna like chipmunk them, eat all 5 at once. So I did 2 at a time. I managed to beat him in 2 minutes and 9 seconds. But then he had to chug a gallon and a half of lemonade, which he did in record time. So his belly was pretty full that day.
When you've been in this sport for so long, and you see a guy like Joey Chestnut, is he just like a complete anomaly, or is he like someone you guys are like, there's no chance of catching him? Like, what is his, like, how do you view him as far as like?
Well, the age-old question, are great competitors born or are they made? I believe 2 were born, Takeru Kobayashi and Sonia the Black Widow Thomas. Something inherent in their physiology and their mental state made them just right out of the get-go great competitive eaters. But Joey is a product of training. You know, he spent 2 years, every contest, every day, trying to chase down Takeru until he beat him. And now he is the 17th belt holder. He's won 17 times at the Nathan's finals. Now, other eaters will beat him around the year in other sports. The
Right.
Buffalo Wing Festival, the Hooters Chicken Wings, fried bologna down in Knoxville. But on July 4th, it's almost impossible to beat Joey. He's the only human on the planet who's done over 70. He's done it 7 times. So no, his entire year is based on that 10-minute,
Right.
both marathon and sprint of hot dogs. But year round, Jeff Esper's beaten him. James Webb from Australia's beaten him. I was with Jeff Esper at Mattituck, Long Island for the Strawberry Festival. We did strawberry shortcake. I ate 6 pounds in 8 minutes, pretty good. Jeff Esper did 22 pounds, so pretty impressive. A lot of great eaters out there. And, of course, last year's champ, Pat Deep Dish Bertoletti, has eaten 58 hot dogs and buns and came in second this year.
So tell us about like your upbringing. I know you were like you would major in like writing seminars and film students. Like where was your brain at, like going through life? What was your vision of what you're going to do in life?
Well, I was always a big eater. Even as a kid, I played basketball traditionally. I went to Johns Hopkins in Baltimore, played 3 sports there, Division III. But people would say I was always better at the pregame meal than the actual athletic endeavor. So I sat the bench. So it's no wonder I turned out to be a pro eater, sort of a gourmet and a gourmand. I like good food in large quantities. But I still write. I'm a struggling screenwriter, and I make some very odd films. But I'm hopefully to maybe transition from competitive eating into food hosting. You know, I've got a unique perspective on food. And obviously I could film as many episodes or as many meals as needed per day. But it's interesting to see the sport has changed. When we started, it wasn't televised. Now we're on ESPN. We've done a lot of TV, from morning shows to late night shows. I did Letterman. I've done Jimmy Fallon twice. And in the modern era now, it's a lot of podcasters. It's a lot of YouTubers. We weren't allowed to do restaurant challenges when we started, and there were very few. And now through Man vs. Food or even like Matt Stoney or Beard Meets Food, people can make their living off just going to restaurants or eating these enormous amounts of food. For me, I'm kind of old school. I don't have a ton of social media. I own 3 typewriters, but I still love the competition. I love the challenge. My next contest is in September, is pork roll in Trent, New Jersey. Very dense, meaty food.
So you've been doing this so long. Does this kind of eating have any long-term toll on your body when you try to wind down and go out to eat normally or exercise normally?
If I'm on a dinner date, I'm a casual diner. And the truth is, I'm probably healthier as a competitive eater because I now watch what I eat every bite, chew, and swallow to be in shape for contests, to be in traditional shape. I live in New York City. I'm a pizza and burger snob. So if it's not the Corner Bistro or Arturo's downtown or the original Pat's uptown, I'm probably not partaking. So it's a lot of it is, I've probably offended some yogis because I took up yoga to be able to eat more food on the competitive eating circuit. But it's mind over stomach matters. So I do guided meditation. Your stomach can fill up, but your mind never can. And that's where some of the great eaters really can make their move.
Now, I've read up that your first kind of competition, or what you did, you were in New Orleans. You went down there for the Super Bowl, couldn't get a ticket, and then you just decided to eat 34 dozen oysters in one sitting.
I'm from Boston originally. Well, I'm from Boston originally. The Patriots were playing. My 2 buddies went to the game. I was at Felix's on Iberville, and I kind of looked down the table, and there was a guy who kind of looks like me now, but like King Neptune, who's just eating them as fast as they were shucking them. So I said to my shucker, Kenny, I was like, how many has anybody ever eaten here? He said, across the street at Acme, the record's 33 dozen. You eat 34 dozen, they're free. Now, I spent summers in Maine where I would eat Maine lobster till they were gone. I went to college in Baltimore, so, bushels of crab and Natty Boh beer until they were gone. But I'd never been able to, because they're cost prohibitive, eat as many oysters as you could. So I said, cut me off. And went across the street. It took about 3.5 hours, and my stomach was distended. I had some great shuckers, Hollywood, who's still there, Storm and Norman, who was like, if you get to 25 dozen, we'll charge you half price. I said, no, let's keep going. He told me, hey, switch for beer. Coffee is going to warm you up a little bit. Don't slurp them. Use the fork because you don't want to get extra liquid in. And I managed to get 34 dozen down. So my buddies got out of the game, and my one buddy, Pete, was way too drunk. The Patriots had won in dramatic fashion. But my other buddy, Brad, he's like, let's get something to eat. It's like 12:30 at night. We go to Acme. The line's 100 people long. They wave me in, standing ovation. He's like, what did you do during the Super Bowl? So that put me on the competitive eating path, but I was already a fan. And then the IFOCE, the International Federation of Competitive Eating, they had a speed eating contest in New Orleans. And I went down and I was the 2002 oyster eating champ. So the belt is my most prized possession. It's in the other room. But I've been doing that ever since.
Has anybody come close to
well, it's interesting. So New Orleans oysters, they make sandwiches out of them. And depending on the year, some of them are smaller, some of them are giant. The salinity could be high. The creaminess factor, Adrian, the Rabbit Morgan, who's from Baton Rouge, there's some years he's like, they're too creamy for me. I can't eat. One year they were very small, which was fortunate. And I did 30, what did I do? I think it was like 38 dozen in 8 minutes. Incredible. And Sonia the Black Widow Thomas did 47 dozen in 8 minutes. And my buddy who had been chosen in the audience was like, if you gave me like a close neck jug and a fork, I couldn't fork them as fast as they were eating them. Her economy of motion was like 6 at a time and swallowing. So pretty amazing contest. I love going to anywhere in Louisiana. We've done everything from Rouse's crawfish to gumbo to, etouffee. But Major League Eating has, in its prime, it's had about 60 events a year. So theoretically, you could go once a week almost and eat in a contest somewhere in the United States or overseas.
So no pun intended, but what is your beef with condiments? Why are you so anti-condiment?
I love food in its purest form. This interview with Matthew McConaughey, who I respect a lot, great autobiography, great actor. He's like, I put ketchup on my ketchup. I'm like, ketchup is the worst. I'm sorry, Heinz. I may never get that sponsorship. If you have to, maybe mustard on a hot dog, but even then. Although I work as a maitre d' at a place in Soho, and Patti Smith came in. She asked for a hot dog with extra sauerkraut. So that one, I was not about to argue with Patti Smith. And I did say, hey, you want to come to Nathan's and be, a guest judge? And she said, I think I'd worry for Joey's health too much in the 10 minutes. So
what about like these chefs who work on these sauces that are like,
I'm not sauce opposed, like a 72-hour
gotcha
reduction. But I don't put anything on my oysters. Maybe I squeeze a little lemon so I don't get scurvy. But I really feel like food should be enjoyed in its purest form. And I'm anti-ranch, pro blue cheese.
Thank you. Excellent take. Yes.
Casual. I go to the Harry Lemon in the East Village, and I'll get 20 wings, and I'll go a little blue cheese on the side, but that's about it.
Now, you brought up like you do yoga to help you with your eating and all that. Let's go to the original days. Was there like any kind of training regimen for people, or was it just like literally showing up and like, I'm going to eat 20 hot dogs today or something to that effect?
Over 20 years ago, there were a lot of bigger guys on the circuit. Now everyone's in traditional athletic shape. There's a documentary from my transition from casual diner to pro eater called Crazy Legs Conti Zen and the Art of Competitive Eating. I think it's probably streaming for free somewhere. But there's a shot, which was true, where we got on the bus at Champions, and they're like, we don't have any 4X shirts. And the whole bus groaned. They're like, all we got is 2X shirts. And the guys are like, I can't fit into a 2X. So I think then people didn't really understand it as you had to be in, athletic shape, because it is an aerobic activity. You burn the calories while you're eating them. And, the Olympics, every gold medalist uses food to propel them to win their event. Ours, the food is the event. So you have to kind of come in empty and leave full. And a lot of eaters have tried different things. There's a lot of techniques I don't recommend in training. But, Joey has done, milk or protein shakes, liquid diets. I tend to honor Takeru Kobayashi. I might do ramen the night before, 2 nights before, as a big kind of stomach stretch. But it's gained popularity in part because of social media, because of television. Really what's come about is they're great female eaters now. So Miki Sudo on July 4th had won her 10th or 11th belt, and Michelle Lesko, Laurel Marie. I mean, some eaters. Before we had Sonia the Black Widow Thomas, and she was the only one. And it was interesting because the PR value of the then Major League Eating, which was rebranded from IFOCE, they said, hey, we're going to have a pumpkin pie eating contest, and a 100-pound Korean American woman is going to beat 2 400-pound guys. So she was the only one, and now we have a plethora of great eaters. This rookie D ate over 20. There's some amazing eaters out there, and I look forward to seeing who's going to be at the table next year.
So I have a question I was thinking about. Like, if I was to go into competitive eating, I think about my stupid teeth, how I've broken teeth on, apples, and I knocked teeth out of my mouth growing up, and I've chipped teeth. Is there some kind of, like, do you guys take into account, like, care for your teeth and stuff like that? The dentist, what the hell are you doing?
Plan. Yeah. And Rich Lefevre did swallow a tooth, the Las Vegas Locust, in a rib eating contest. And Tim Eater Janis, my former roommate, he actually stopped eating the canola eating contest because he'd have to go to his dentist in Connecticut the day after each year. So you'd have to be pretty careful. You have to have pretty strong teeth. I think Don Moses Lerman tried to sell his molars that had been extracted on eBay, and they were like, we're not going to go with that. So you do want a strong jaw, but you don't need to former, El Wingador, former Wing Bowl champion, he would chew frozen Tootsie Rolls, which is not going to help you out. Although Joey Jaws Chestnut has, he's got some weird jaw exercises. So I even have one of these jaw strength things where you're like.
That's a ball gag.
This is actually for a short film where I played a down on his luck long-time competitive eater, so it wasn't much of a stretch. But so there is something to strengthening the muscles inside and out. But for the most part, I really believe it's getting into the zone like any other sport and ignoring the eaters to your left and right of the crowd and eating your plate in front of you. Technique comes into play. There's a great contest in South Florida that benefits the Make-A-Wish Foundation of Southern Florida, which is the Wings for Wishes program at the Sports Grill. And these are baked or rather grilled wings, so they're much larger. So a normal technique, you really want, it takes just as long to make a good bite as a bad bite. So the meat umbrella or bullet holing it is not going to pan out in a contest with meat or wings. So you do want to factor in your technique when you're at the table.
Now, looking at the numbers you've done through history, the last one I could see you were in, correct me if I'm wrong, was 2016, and you ate a grand total of 1 hot dog that day.
Well, I've
not
been
feeling it. Did you think Price is Right where you bid $1 and you accidentally win? What's up with that?
I've been in the contest since. I've done it 16 times in the finals, but 2016 was the 100th anniversary of Nathan. So I wanted to use, it wasn't really covered in Back to the Future, but I wanted to time travel using the perfect hot dog theory, which is essentially that if you can find the one perfect hot dog, which on the 100th anniversary, Stillwell and Surf, where Nathan and Ida Handyworker had invented the Nathan's hot dog, in the course of eating just one, I was able to travel back 100 years and then back to the future and arrive on the spot. So that was a little experiment, and it was successful, but I haven't done it since. I did do some food stuntmen things for the 100th anniversary of the Wonder Wheel. I rode on top, untethered, and ate Nathan's hot dogs. I've eaten my way out of the popcorn sarcophagus, an 80 cubic foot popcorn kind of coffin, earning me the moniker the Houdini of Cuisine on the Evel Knievel of the Alimentary Canal.
We can't just bring that up and get to the next question. How does that even come about? And is that actually like fear-inducing, trying to get out of that with just your eating abilities?
I signed a lot of waivers. When we did that, it was at the Tribeca Film Festival. Years later, I heard someone asked Robert De Niro, "Hey, this guy ate his way out of a box." He said, "Oh, that's ridiculous," but it had happened. George Shea was a little concerned. He had a priest there. I was wearing wristbands. I had green for everything's okay, red for break the glass with the sledgehammer. Yellow, I think, was more butter. I can't remember what that one was, but he was very concerned. He's like, "You don't have to do it. I'm really worried this could go astray." But fast forward years later when I did the Wonder Wheel, and he was like, "You can't stand up," and they're like, "No, he can't stand up." He's like, "I don't know. I got the feeling that maybe he had a little bit of the PR wouldn't be so bad if he tumbled." So the food stuntmen thing have been very interesting and just a unique experience. And I think people like it a lot. I had a sky suit built by a Broadway costume designer that I wore when I did the Wonder Wheel stunt because I learned from the popcorn sarcophagus. I had a tuxedo. I always wear shorts. Yeah. And it was just ruined. There was popcorn and butter everywhere, and I had to get rid of it. So.
Now, my co-host here many years ago, we were with our friend Randy Santel, who was has all these food challenges, and Mike over here took on his first food challenge. Now, Mike, I'm curious what Crazy Legs would think of this because he's very anti-condiment. Okay, Now, Mike, give him a little background on kind of what you had to do and how you did. I will say he did pretty good.
Yeah, so it was at a place called Sabretti's where they have a hot dog challenge where it's 30 hot dogs in 30 minutes, but every hot dog has a different topping on it, so it's not just straight up hot dogs. Well, so I was doing well at the beginning, but then we get into stuff like there was a chocolate marshmallow hot dog, which I will say wasn't half bad. I was shocked how decent that was. But what got me to slow down was the duck sauce fried, those fried onions you get in the packets.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was kind of plain nasty with my taste buds. I did get up to, I believe it was 11 and a half.
That's pretty good.
At the end.
Good. Yeah.
But
30 and 30 is a lot. And even with toppings, that's even more. That'd be tough for any pro eater. Randy was really the first guy to go out on the road and do these restaurant challenges. I've never met him here. He's a swell guy. But what I think is interesting is I watch Beard Meats Food, and any challenge that Randy had done years ago, they show a picture of Randy with it. It's like he's holding a lobster roll that's kind of like the size of, call it a football. And then the one Beard Meats Foot gets is like twice as big. Like they know he's coming, so they just add more to it, which I think is great. Randy really kind of revolutionized going out on the road and writing reviews about how tough these challenges are. There haven't been too many that have come across that really would kind of pique my interest. The giant pizzas and the giant burgers kind of get cooked so long that they taste like hockey pucks or leather. Mm-hmm. But sure, I do a sushi challenge or ramen challenge. George, the Smorgasbord Sugar, came to New York, and there's actually a place on Avenue A that does the largest bowl, which is, I think it's like 12 pounds, $85 if you don't finish it. But and he finished it. But for the most part, if you were at a restaurant or a barbecue and somebody said, hey, go ahead and eat 20 hot dogs, but take your time, I don't know if that would appeal to me. But in competition, there's something about saying there's 10 minutes and all these people are competing that it just drives you to eat faster and kind of hones in on what truly a sport is. But I'd say 11 and a half is pretty good. I have a speaking engagement at Clark University in Worcester, Mass, for a marketing class. And we went to a place called Coney Islands, and I just had like 3, and we filmed a little interview there. And then Jeff Esper was like, hey, last time I was there, just so you know, I ate 50. And I'm like, all right, fair enough. I'm not going to touch the number 2 eater in the world's, record.
Yeah, we saw him there twice because the 30th hot dog, they put like Reaper sauce on it. So when he was trying to get to 30 to get the win and the cash, it just hit his stomach and he lost. And then he came back and he set the record at 26.
Okay.
Then somebody down the road did all 30.
Well, let's also talk about the shady owner that tried to like change the rules as he was finishing. He's like, oh, you can't stand up. You can't do this. And they went into the back room for a while to figure out what the hell, do I have this record or not?
Yeah. There used to be, outside Yale, there was in New Haven, there was the Yankee Doodle Burger. And Ed Cookie Jarvis, my nemesis 20 years ago, and Badlands Booker would alternate. They'd go down and they'd each eat one more. The record was one more. And it was hilarious. We went to speak at Yale one time, Hungry Charles, Badlands, and I, and we went and the diner was closed. And the next time we went, Tim Eater X Janis had snuck in and eaten an astronomical number, and they gave him a watch, and then the diner went out of business, probably for giving away so many free burgers to competitive eaters. But the burger discipline's been interesting. White Hut in the Big E, which is also in Massachusetts, has been a great one. We used to do Crystal Square Offs, which was little slider hamburgers. I think if Harold and Kumar really gotten high, they probably would have gone there instead of White Castle. But I did eat a crave case at a bar mitzvah. I was the first eater to eat at a bar mitzvah. I couldn't eat against the kid who was 13 because you have to be 18 to eat in competitive eating. So I ate a crave case. And then years ago, when the Crystal Square Off was happening, I'd eaten 49 in 8 minutes, which was my best. And we were in Memphis on Beale Street. They said, you got to try Dwyer's. Their grease is 100 years old. Each time it moved locations, the police would escort the pot of grease to the location. And I went in, and these were like flattened burgers that they put in this, big thing of grease. I said, I'll just have one. They were like, no, people are quads and 6 of them. I'm like, it's going to be my 50th burger of the day. Like, I'm eating one. That's it. So, but it was delicious. So I look forward to getting back to Dwyer's.
Sometimes I wonder if sentences have ever been said before. When you say, I ate a crave case at a bar mitzvah, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
That's been echoed.
Eater X he wanted to try to get in touch with like Russian oligarchs to see if they'd bring us over for like caviar eating contests and stuff. But it never happened. But I have traveled overseas. In 2009, Major League Eating partnered with Navy Entertainment. Each branch of the armed forces has a MWR program, which is morale, welfare, and recreation. And they do everything from manage the laundromats to bring, Jay-Z on the Intrepid for Fleet Week. And a guy named Ari saw me on Emerald and thought, competitive eating seems like the same kind of fan base, young people who love these rock bands. So we did 7 tours. I went on 6 of them. I've been to Guantanamo Bay. I've eaten Nathan's hot dogs at every base in Japan. Really the best thing I've done as a human being, not just a competitive eater. So I hope one year for the B-roll of Nathan's, if I can't qualify, they'll send me to some naval base somewhere in the world, and we can do a 1-minute, pro-am with the Sailor Soldiers. That's a goal I have.
Nice.
You, as we talked about earlier with studying film, you have worked with like Billy Bob Thornton, Al Pacino, Morgan Spurlock. When you go into these projects, do you keep the Major League Eating on the side? Do you like shun people trying to bring it up? Or are you just like openly, hey, how's it going? And I eat 5 pounds of buffet food once.
Do they hate you at the craft services table?
Yeah, exactly. I stopped trying to impress women in bars with it. We've had a few craft service challenges over the years. Interestingly enough, Al Pacino, I did 2 years on and off a movie called Chinese Coffee that he directed, and he would do quadruple espressos and halva bars, which are super sugary. And I was like, if they ever have a halva contest, Pacino is going to kill. Like, this guy was amazing at the halva discipline. I've been fortunate that I've worked with a lot of people. I've been starstruck a couple times. The guy who played Marty in Meatballs, I was like absolutely blown away to meet him. I'd love to meet Bill Murray. I wear his clothing. He and his brothers have William Murray Golf. I'd love to be the first competitive eating brand ambassador for them. And obviously he had a pretty pivotal, inspirational scene in Meatballs where Fink beats the stomach.
Yep.
For the most part, there's not a lot of crossover. There's been documentaries, but there's never been a true, just straight up competitive eating film. I think Hollywood has shied away, although there's been some scripts in development. I know that Seth Rogen and Adam Sandler, there's a little, in Funny People, there's a film within a film of him eating hot dogs, Adam Sandler, and going, this won't bring your mom back or something hilarious. And then DVD commentary, they're like, thank goodness you did this so I could keep turning down actual competitive eating films. But I think we'll get one out there one day.
Well, Crazy Legs, we really appreciate having the time to talk to you. Really interesting to hear your history. You seem to still love it and still going at it, which is really great, especially with MLE just like climbing. If people want to know about your upcoming contest or any projects you're working on, where are the best places for them to go to find out?
Well, MajorLeagueEating.com has all the upcoming contests. We've got ribs in Mystic River. We got the Buffalo Festival for chicken wings. And then I'm at crazylegsconti.com, which is the one place online you could find me. And, I'm pretty easy to reach in real life as well. And I love food recommendations. So we're kind of like, the modern equivalent of vaudeville. When we come to your town, I always have room for dessert. If I win a little prize money, it covers my bar bill. I require an after party everywhere we go. But it's interesting to see where Major League Eating is going to take the world. And it can only get bigger and more fun from here.
And final question from me, from what I've seen in your work history, you have been a window washer, a nude model, and a sperm donor. Have you ever thought about combining the 3 into one job?
We did, not the sperm donating, but we did for the DVD release of Crazy Legs Honey Zen and the Art of Competitive Eating. We tried a food stunt that went terrible. It was Columbus Day weekend, so we got no media. But I climbed out a window ledge. We did belt hook windows, so you clip it to the side, and I ate a dozen donuts and cleaned the window in under 3 minutes. And I wanted to do it naked to combine the nude modeling, but the NYPD was like, absolutely not. They were like, listen, any camera was right up the undercarriage. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to agree with you. So I wore a Speedo with some flames on it. And I got no media. It was like just a bunch of my friends going like, why come out to see you in this? But I still casually clean windows, and I do love donuts. So I wouldn't say never. We'll see. And actually, when the products of my donation turn 18, they could find out who was the donor. I can never find out who they are. And I was working at a Boston bar in New York, and it was Father's Day, and I said, this is the year, somebody could walk in the door and say, Crazy Legs, you're my dad. And this regular was like, you do know it takes 9 months to make a kid. I was like, all right, so it's next year. But it hasn't happened yet. But I have almost no money in the bank, so I could take them out for a good meal, though.
I think that'd be the perfect combo though. Like, imagine somebody's giving a presentation and they're like, they hate doing public speaking, or they got to give out some bad news and they're really worried about what the bosses are going to do. You just press a button on an app and just as you're starting, it's like, whoa, what's that outside the door? It's a naked guy eating donuts, watching the windows.
Yeah, I know. I usually, when I go to the pool, I do wear a new, Rick Majors thong, and someone was like, you should just show up as thong man or thong guy to these parties, because there was a lot of bachelor and bachelorette parties who were enthused. So I think if we combine that with donuts, I could probably hold at least 6 donuts and 2 hot cups of coffee at the same time.
I think we're combining too much stuff here. I got to be
maybe too much. Maybe. I don't know if the internet's ready for all that.
Yeah.
Bring your typewriter and you can write a book while you're at it.
Yeah.
Crazy Legs, thank you so much for the time. Wish you best of luck. Keep up the great work, and we'd love to have you down the road on the show again.
Sounds great, guys. Thanks so much. Eat all you can.
Crazy Legs, Conti, Mike.
Scott, if you were a competitive eater, what's your nickname going to be?
Bread and Butters.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That just works and all. Wasn't that your rap name?
No. Oh, yes, it was my rap name. It was also my Xbox.
You can't reuse your rap name for your eating name. That's just tiresome. What's wrong with you?
It works.
Yeah, but you're not going to get more IPs out there. You're not going to get more merchandise sold. Everybody's like, I already got it from his rap album.
Did you say IPs? Like my IP? You mean EPs?
Both. IPs, EPs. You got to think of all this stuff. The web is an amazing place.
I would be called Ginger Eater.
Ooh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, it works. But I think Bread and Butters is multifaceted. So.
Yeah, you should just stick with that one. I don't know why you're changing it up.
You told me I got to change it.
I don't.
You said I wouldn't sell any IPs that way.
I'm hearing you with my earphones, and I'm using my verticals back at you.
Yeah, but selling IPs sounds like something you do for money on the side.
Well, I mean, food stamps haven't been come easily lately, so you got to do what you got to do, man.
If you, I think we've had this conversation before, but real quick, if you were to enter a competitive eating competition, not like the hot dog one you give a shot, what would be the food you think you can plow?
Food I think I could plow.
Or like stand a chance.
Stand a chance. I think I could probably do. I'm going to say anchovies because I love anchovies.
Wow.
And I feel like the competition would be less likely to. I mean, granted, like all these other people are going to just shove the entire can literally down their throat and beat me.
Spit the can out. Yeah. Wow, anchovies. That's not what I pictured. Anchovies. I thought you were going to say like those little tasty cakes you get from the store,
Oh, I mean, they're wonderful and all. They're moist and all.
Stop talking about your moist, tasty cakes that you buy for $1 at the gas station. Stop it.
Hey, they're delicious, man. And when you have back injuries, that moistness really comes through,
Or a fat boy session at night, you put a couple of those down.
Ah, my Lord. And nothing worse when you're stuffed and you're in like a QT or some gas station lot, and you just look at them and you're like, there's 3 of them in there. I'm going to only eat one, and like the wrapper's thrown away before you even get to the car, and all 3 get shoved down your throat.
I put in some work the other day. I had another fat boy session that night.
What'd you do, man?
Just every bag of chips in the house, taking cheese, just American cheese, just eating it. Went into the turkey, just
cold meat.
Cold meat, just plowing it. But regardless of the fact, wasn't happy with it. But I know I would have a chance because I pretty much do it every Christmas Eve at Cocktail Shrimp. I'm not exaggerating. I think I could eat 50 without blinking and then keep going.
That seems like an easy one. Like you don't even keep counting. All of a sudden you just like look at that big pile of tails and you go, damn, that's impressive.
That I eat so much cocktail shrimp on Christmas Eve at my aunt's house that sometimes I look at my plate and there's those piles of shells that I have to like throw my plate out and like start a new one because I'm embarrassed by how much shellage there is.
There's nothing that angers me more like going to a buffet or some place where it's like you can eat all the shrimp, but like you got to clean the entire thing. Mm-hmm. I remember my sister was dating somebody and like our whole family went out and he didn't know that you're supposed to take the shell up and he's just crunching down on shrimp. And I can't deny, like, our family, we had to wait till he had, like, 8 of them before asking him how the shrimp are doing. I guess he just figured shrimp were, like, naturally crunchy. Like the legs are still on there. And he's just going to town and all. I mean.
Wow. No. But, yeah, cocktail shrimp would be, if there's an eating competition that I had to enter, that would probably be my number one. And I think I would actually do okay with wings. The only problem is wings are so common. People have techniques that are so good at. But bulk-wise, I could eat a lot of wings.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like if I went back to my old train, like my hot dog eating days, I feel I could give us a good number going into a competition with wings. I would.
One day we should just see how many hot dogs we could eat in a complete podcast.
Yeah, I got to get a couple pounds down, but let's table it for later on.
Meanwhile, 2 episodes ago, we're talking about our fat boy sessions. Yeah.
Well, you reminded me, and now, like 2 weeks later, it's like, I should probably start working on them.
I'm right there with you, buddy. I've had several fat boy sessions. What do you got, Mike?
Well, speaking about like food at parties, let me ask you, like when you get invited to a party, do you specifically like make sure they specify like the food situation going into like a celebration?
Good question. No, that's a hard one because a lot of people that like I would go to said party, I've been going to their barbecues and things for 15. My friends group's been the same basically, like for a very long time. So I do know that they're like I have an idea of what is usually there food wise, but I do always try to bring something. Like I would try to like whatever, if it's bring a dessert or pick up something or cook something. But I do try to bring something. But no, I would say no. I don't always specify like, hey, what's going to be there or whatnot. So
yeah. Well, I guess more clearly, do you make sure? Hey, is there going to be food there? Versus like if somebody's like, hey, I'm having a gathering at my house. Are you making sure, okay, specify food there? What's the food?
But there has been times where we're like, well, what is the situation? Like, because we'll be like, should we eat before we go?
Exactly.
Stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So my wife got invited over to somebody's house for a birthday party. It was a birthday party / jam session.
Oh, the Walden Jam. Yeah.
Not Walden Jam. Oddly enough, the guy who ran Walden Jam was there, but this was a different thing. This was known as Paulina's birthday jam we went to.
Oh, and, Paulina, did you get a shirt?
Afraid not. They were not providing them whatsoever. But like going into it, the wife said they specified there would be food there, and if you want to bring sides, bring sides and all. So we got a big cookie tray to bring there and all that. And we go there, much like Walden Jam, massive house, massive acreage. They had a huge swimming pool deck with a gigantic swimming pool. And behind it, they had a fully built out like stage where they do concerts in the back of the house. So we're talking a huge house. People are loaded with money and all that kind of stuff. So I'm like, oh, okay, this looks like a nice thing. And naturally, the thought process is, okay, there's going to be some decent food here.
Yeah.
It's a good thing I held off on eating beforehand. But I kind of been going back and forth with the wife on this because, yeah, I can go to somebody's house without there needing to be food. I can get my own food. That's not a big problem. When they say there's food, I expect like real food.
Yeah.
Something like of substance there. So apparently, so as you remember, the name of this celebration is Paulina's Birthday Jam. What are those initials there, Scotty?
PB&J.
Yes. So their big, we're going to have food there is having like 8 different breads, 6 different peanut butters, like 7 different jellies and Nutella and all that. Their big cuteness about it, since it's PB&J.
Yeah, slightly clever.
PB&J. Yeah, it's kind of slightly clever, and on its own it's fine, but I don't feel they really specified to people what the cuteness and what's going on, because a lot of people were bringing like mayonnaise and vinegar-based salads to this as the side. So there's a mishmash of, I have Nutella on wheat bread and egg salad next to it. There's
I could see like a little PB&J section. I think that's kind of cool, but maybe like another section with some burgers and dogs or something like that. Yeah,
nothing like that. Nothing at all. It was literally like people, I guess, assuming a hot dog burger kind of thing. So they're giving the mayonnaise stuff and all. So literally the whole night is just tartness or sweetness. There is nothing. They had like 2 Domino's pizza boxes, but I guess since we weren't there at like the crack of the beginning, there was like a slice left. And even still, there's probably like 70 people there. Ain't no way 2 Domino's boxes.
I have a big problem with this. I talk to my wife all the time. I am an over orderer or over provider of food a lot of times. If I have a party or something, I have been caught many times like where the party's over. I'm like, oh my God, I definitely over ordered because of the fear of embarrassment of people coming and being like, oof, there was nothing to eat. There was nothing, Also, peanut butter and jelly in July and August, July in Georgia sounds pretty not very appetizing outside. Like, I don't know, it doesn't really match the vibe.
Yeah, it doesn't really work. I mean, and add to it, like their leftovers they're going to be remained with. So, like I said, they had like 8 different breads. They had like 10 different jellies. This is not really something you can be like coming out. No, who's got it? Who wants a bag? Who wants a bag? Who wants some jelly to come home and all? It's just such a weird concept. Plus, everybody's getting hammered outside. So alcohol, PB&Js, and mayonnaise and vinegar-based salads is not the trio I think about to celebrate someone's birth.
I like that you very specified mayonnaise and vinegar-based salads 7 times here.
I mean, it's not even like, oh, cute little fruit salad and all. No, it's everything that does. No way nobody goes, let me get peanut butter and a scoop of Hellmann's. It does not work.
Yeah, and I think like after one PB&J, you're good. Like you're not going to be housing PB&Js all night.
Yeah. You can't go like 6-pack of beer, 6-pack of PB&Js. It sounds like a good challenge, but it's not the combo that we all look for in life. And all maybe the man child who wants to be an alcoholic and a kid in life.
Yeah, it sounds like you guys need to get together and figure out these hosting things. The Walden Jam was weird. The PB&J party. What's going on down there? What happened to burgers and dogs and macaroni salad?
Well, these are not my people. I mean, I have some friends of Izzy's group, but I will say that our closer side of friends are not the people who are creating these situations where I'm kind of like, I mean, am I wrong thinking this?
No, now it's time for you to throw a sardine party.
Anchovies, thank you. And
I thought you said sardines.
I said anchovies, man.
Oh, okay.
I mean, what? You're a disgusting human being.
Oh, all right. Well, to throw an anchovy party, see how it goes over.
Yeah. Now we're talking. Now things are making sense. Like my middle name is Alan, but I'll be like, it's a Michael A. Burlew party, and when they come in, I'm like, nothing but anchovies.
It stands for mad anchovies, baby.
Can I have water? Yes, with anchovies floating in them. That is the water you will drink tonight. I have ice cubes specifically with little anchovies floating in there like a frozen igloo and all to delight your taste buds.
Yeah, it's a little weird, man. It's a little weird. It's a little disappointing. Did you stop for food on the way home?
I had enough where I'm like, I'm good because we didn't leave till like 11. So then I had a few beers, but like, you get home, you're in the bed, and then you start having the fat boys session discussions where you're like, I know I shouldn't get up and eat something.
Oh, the worst is when you
really am not in a spot where I want to close my eyes and end this night on this kind of situation.
The worst is when you you say to yourself, you're like, I'm just gonna go to the bath and take a whiz, and then your stupid feet clap against the floor towards the fridge, and you just fat boy session has commenced, and then it takes over you, and it's just, what's back there? What do we got left over? What's in the cabinet? And like, oh, I'll close the fridge. I'll open it again. Something new might be in there. It's disgusting.
Oh, yeah. And the worst is like you're taking a whiz with like a pork chop in your hand and you're looking at the mirror and you're not wearing a shirt and you just question every decision you make in your life as you stare at yourself.
Yeah. I mean, they need to make like an Apple Watch that live counts your calories. Like, I feel like that would make the difference in a lot of people's life. Like, holy crap. Like, I had 5 beers and 4 PB&Js and I'm still going after this. Like where it's just like, dude, you're like 8,000 calories over what you're supposed to today.
Like, I wonder if somebody like just got ossified at that party and had like 10 PB&Js and they're vomiting and the peanut butter is getting stuck as they're trying to push it back out of their throat.
The cleanup's probably terrible too, like jelly stuck to everything.
And then those vinegar-based salads are coming out with it. They're not sticking in that tummy.
Maybe the vinegar is there to help break it down on the way into the tummy.
I enjoy vinegar, but not with my PB&J. I'm sorry, people. You gotta learn, man. I demand now any party I get invited to, I get one day notice to come over and just look. I need to supervise what's going on here. And that will determine if I show up the next day.
Why, you're not down with a vinegar and jelly sandwich? That's not appetizing to you?
I'm not. I mean, I've been to one good party so far down here in Georgia, and what the wife brought us to was a cute little costume party. A lot of swingers there, which was kind of odd, but still.
Just bringing this up now. At the end of the story, you went to a swinger party.
Well, it wasn't a swinger party.
What is with you? And you have, most people don't encounter swingers all the time. You encounter people asking you to be in pornos. You encounter people that want to swing with you. You almost get a wife in Bulgaria. Like, you do the whole vinegar story, vinegar, peanut butter, and then you say, oh, yeah, one time we went to a party. It was great. There's a lot of swingers there. Oh, anything to promote, Scott, before we go? Like, what are you talking about here?
We went to a Halloween party hosted by one of her musician friends.
Okay, what are you dressed as? Let's.
What were we dressed as? I'm trying to even remember what it was. Like, I think I would have to actually look it up because I remember the party itself.
Too busy swinging.
I mean, I want to say we did like because I want to say like a flapper outfit, like the wife was in like a 20s gear, and
I was hoping it was you in the flapper dress.
I want to say it was either that or like a pirate thing. I would have to look back at the pictures to give you the official answer on
okay. Well, let's get to the swinging, man.
Yeah, we went to like it was a musician that that she knows. She does recordings with him and stuff like that. We show up to the party. Great spread. This dude knew what he was doing and all.
Of course, there's a great spread. It's a swingers party.
Yeah. There's a great spread and other spreads. Yeah. I digress.
Great spread, decent food.
But they're playing music downstairs. It's a good kind of party. We know some people there, and we're just chatting and all. And then like one guy comes up and hey, you get our costume and all, and we're looking, and one girl has a pumpkin on her shirt, and the other girl has pumpkin on her shirt, and he has a shirt that says Peter on it. And I'm like, what? And you don't get it? You don't get it?
Peter, pumpkin eater.
Exactly. That was the answer. And then I
don't like you. This is
what?
Like episodes long ago, you're like blah 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 blah, and then the last second of the show, you're like, well, I had a pet squirrel, and then we like.
Well, these memories just show up, Scott, and we're having a good conversation.
You tell a decent peanut butter and jelly parties, and then story, and then you're like, well, I go to this party where I'm surrounded by swingers. Like, lead with the swinger story.
Well, I brought up food, and I'm like, oh, there was food at the swinger party. Let me maybe give a little anecdote before we leave tonight.
What kind of food is served at a swingers party?
They had a full spread and would every kind of appetizer you could think of, meatballs. He had chili. He had sandwiches.
Wow.
There was chicken wings. There was like tons of desserts.
Was there a password you had to say to get into the party?
If it was said, somebody ahead of me said it, and I walked in right after.
Orgy.
But then, as a night kind of ended, as we're like driving home, well, my wife is just like, yeah, apparently he has a lot of swinger friends. And then later on, she found out that he's a little bit of a swinger. No invitations before you even ask. But
that's a good point. Like, if you're having a swinger party, does everyone need to know, or do you figure that out when you get there?
I think it's just him being a swinger. He has swinger friends, and he also has musician friends. So he just brings the communities together like this, and it's your job to figure out if you're going to join one, the other, or collide in between.
I could never be a swinger, ever.
No.
Ever. I would disappoint two people, and it would just be me sitting on the sidelines watching something else go on.
I would be the awkward one that would get like rejected at the swinger party. You know,
everyone else is swinging.
All right, you told me this is a swinger party. I just asked 8 women. I'm in the same goddamn spot. What was the point of the swinging if they won't swung?
I'm going back to the good spread.
I mean, the meatballs are great, but still.
Just you petting the dog in the corner while your wife is getting abused by other men.
Can we go home?
What is it about you and the sexual deviant people that seem to find you?
Look at me.
I know. That's why I'm asking. What is it?
I don't know. You gotta get him on the show. I don't know what to tell you. No, I can call my ex-employee who texted me randomly on a Wednesday night at midnight. He wanted to see me plow his wife. I could contact Izzy's musician friend. I won't say his name because he's a really nice guy. He actually is a good
he's
musician.
Definitely really nice. Yeah,
wow,
really nice. Good spread, swinger party. Mm-hmm. He's super nice.
He's great singer and whatever. But I mean. Life just happens and Burlew comes into it. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's what happened here too. But Mike, time for us to go. Anything to promote before we get on out of here?
I am just gonna promote our nothing. No.
You have nothing. I love you looking around trying to figure out.
I like to promote lights. Lights light up your life.
Why don't you promote our Australian audience?
Yeah. I mean, we are on
close the Kickstarting tab. Look at him scramble to find out where we are.
Why did you promote something, Scott?
No, you go first. That's the
why. I'm busy swinging, man. You know what? Just for that, the next swinging story, I'm going to wait even later. Like when I have my last words. Hey, Scott.
I actually have nothing really to promote either. So I'm kind of on the same train here. Don't worry, the newsletter will be back. It turns out it's very hard to write a newsletter while having children around. But subscribe to that over at Substack. I'm going to put out one here with like lumping in a couple episodes, and I'll get back on it. It's at Substack, Verbal Shenanigans. We've gotten some good feedback on that newsletter, so I will have it back up and running. It's just it's a little easier once the summer's kind of over, but I will have one out this week.
Yeah, I like how you're saying I'm going to get right on it as you're going on vacation next week.
I'm going to get right on it, guys. It might be it might sum up 4 episodes at once, but that's okay. It's there and it's kind of cool. You can read the old ones in the meantime. I think the last one was all about Mike, so I'm sure he's read that one a lot. So
yeah, I guess if we're just going to promote ourselves, let's also promote the Spotify list that we put out there of all of our great musical guests out there. Our last musical guest was Todd Pipes of Deep Blue Something. He has been added to our music list, but if you look up Verbal Shenanigans on Spotify, not only could you listen to the podcast, but you have options to listen to a whole list of literally every single music guest that has ever been on the show.
Yeah, it's a cool thing. It's actually a pretty good playlist too. Like if you listen to it, there's some good stuff on there. So other than that, I want to thank Crazy Legs Conti for coming on the show. If anybody is interested in swinging with Burlew, please just email us at verbalshenaniganspodcast at gmail.com. I will set that up. As long as you have a good spread, Mike will spread too, guys. Life is funny. Laugh at it. Keep the wind at your back.
Did I ever tell you I was almost a prostitute?